Our first guests on the show today, Jackson County Recovery Court Judge Susan Bebe and Jackson County Prosecutor Jerry Jarzynka. Welcome. Hi, Susan.
Hi.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Hi, Jerry.
Thank you.
Welcome back. And I don't think, you don't sound Irish, Bebe or Jarzynka. No. But St. Joseph's Day is coming up.
It is. Well, you might say that on St. Patrick's Day, everyone's a little bit Irish, Bart.
I held out a bit of hope that you would actually wear a green tie.
Well, it's the 15th today, Bart. It's not officially St. Patrick's Day.
No, I think the real reason is you don't have a green tie.
He's saving it for church on Sunday. We talked about this.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's true.
Church on Sunday.
It's true.
Well, you have a new and I think growing program in how our community is dealing with drug offenses.
True.
We've got a whole court dedicated to drug offenses and the recovery of those cases.
Yes. Since 2004, it's been going. And Judge Nelson started it in 2004. Judge Schmucker took over in 2006, and I took over in 2011 when Judge Schmucker left to be the state court administrator.
How much of your time is dedicated to recovery court?
The actual court sessions and team meetings happen every other week. Our team meeting is before the court session, but I would say at least one day every week is filled up with recovery courts. We have 55 participants, and they're in all phases of recovery and all phases of their criminal cases. So all in all, about a day a week is devoted to dealing with recovery court participants.
It's not a full-time dedicated courthouse, and you're not full-time dedicated.
No, I have a regular docket, a family court docket, a criminal docket, but the recovery court is part of my docket assignments. But no, it's not specifically all that I do every single day.
But there are a lot of drug cases that courts deal with.
Yes.
And one of the top reasons for crime, drugs, right?
That's
true.
correct.
It's true.
Jerry, it must be helpful to the prosecutor to have a mechanism for dealing with drug offenses, particularly the first-time offenders.
Well, Bart, it is. Predominantly, most of the participants in the recovery court are drunk driving defendants, charged with drunk driving third, but we do have drug possession defendants or participants, and they have addictions. And this is really an alternate way of trying to treat those cases other than what we normally do. Instead of looking at jail or prison, we're looking at a program where they have an opportunity to change their lives around and literally do so by going through a very intensive program. It's a difficult program, Bart. I think some people aren't familiar with it, think that, well, you just go to this program and you don't have to go to jail. But it's very intensive, especially the first two phases. And actually, it's very unpleasant because people are on you 24/7. And you have to go to different counseling sessions. You have to report the different meetings. And then you're being reviewed in court every 2 weeks in front of your peers. So it's pretty challenging. And I've seen personally very good results with people responding to that program.
This isn't for people who are dealing the meth. It's people with substance abuse problems. It's a personal dependence issue, right?
It is. Sometimes dealing isn't just associated with dealing. Sometimes people deal to support their own habits. And we can service those particular individuals, but this program isn't catered towards people who are engaging in trafficking activities and don't have a co-occurring substance abuse issue. This is for people that have substance abuse dependence.
It's a whole team. You represent parts of the team, but you've got probation people, you've got AA, recovery specialists.
Correct. We have a prosecutor representative. We have a representative from the defense bar. We have clinical staff from Allegiance Addiction Recovery Center, from Allegiance Substance Abuse Services. We have somebody from Born Free that participates in our team meetings. We have a law enforcement representative. We have a very good sampling, in addition to our own recovery court staff, which we have a full-time staff to help out.
Tell me about the defendants from both your standpoint and yours, Jerry, the types of people that end up in this court and in the program and what you see is in the way of, I guess, transformation, eh?
Yeah, we don't take violent offenders, so if we have to look at their past criminal record, and the prosecutor's office is instrumental in screening our participants and making sure that we screen the right people and admit the right people, and we have a screening team. But we typically see people that have substance abuse dependence and then subsequent criminal difficulties.
From the prosecutor's perspective, Bart, basically we play a role of screening, really the role of gatekeeper. We decide which defendants meet the criteria in which they can actually apply for the court. It's just because the prosecutor says, well, I think this person fits the criteria, doesn't necessarily mean they get into the court. They have to go through a interviewing process, and they're screened by a committee just to be accepted. But before that, the prosecutor plays a role. We've got criteria like Judge Bebe said, you can't be a violent offender, you can't have any prior gun offenses, you can't have any prior convictions for CSC or child abuse. If you're on parole, you can't even apply. So there are a number of criteria in which a defendant has to meet before he even can apply. So it's not, I want the public to know, not just anyone can even apply. And typically the judge is right. We're looking at people who are, especially drunk driving defendants, really that's what their story, their background has been. They don't have any other involvement in the criminal justice system.
I think we get a good idea of what the court is all about when we take a look at your graduation ceremony.
Yes.
That Jackson Recovery Court has seen since its inception in 2004. We'll have a number of the normal duties we're going to have today with the problem list and regular phase-ups, but we'll have a celebration. That's what this is all about. This is celebrating the accomplishments of the 15 or so people that are graduating today that have worked for our average length of period is 18 months that people have been involved in treatment and sobriety. And we're just so excited for everybody, how hard work they've put in and the progress they've made in changing their lives by allowing us in the team that sits up here to help those who really wanted to be helped. This is a treatment court. This court is here as an alternative to incarceration, and the success rate is at least 60% of our participants are successful completers of this program.
Hello, everybody. I'm Judy. I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, Judy.
I just want to thank the Recovery Court for their patience with me and to help me get sober and straight today. The last 20 months, I have been happier and freer than anybody. I have so much to say, but my mind's just all jumbled up, but I just thank everybody, and I thank God. And Judy.
Good afternoon, I'm Dale and I'm an alcoholic. Hi, Dale. And just want to say it's been a long journey, 18 months. I've done this program without any sanctions. I really feel that it can be done. This is the best thing that's happened to me. Since I got sober, I've got a lot of health issues, I know today that can't do it by yourself. You got to have a program, you got to go to AA. If you think you can't do it, go back out to it, because it ain't no joke, you guys. I mean, it's a serious program, I'm one drink away from going back to it, All it does is take one day at a time, 24 hours a day. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations, all of you.
Congratulations.
Very cool. And I do want to mention that those participants were aware that JTV was filming.
Yes.
And agreed to be on camera. I know both of you are statistics-driven, data-driven. So we've got enough experience over the years to draw some conclusions as to the success of the program. Like what? What do you look at, and how would you measure, rate the success of recovery court?
Well, I'll take a shot at that, Bart. Basically, you may have heard the number bandied about. The cost of putting someone in the Department of Corrections as a prisoner is around $35,000 a year. The cost of putting someone in prison is much less than that, but the cost of going through recovery court, where the person is not in jail or prison, is obviously much less. It's costing the public a lot less dollars per day, per year. And so from that standpoint, clearly, it's economically, it's a benefit for our community. But more than that, I think the goal of the program is to move these particular people in a direction where they're not going to repeat offend, that they're going to change their lives with substance abuse, so they're not going to abuse again, so we're not going to see them back in the system. And from that standpoint, it's going to help us out, I think. And I think the judge would agree with that.
Yeah, the prosecutor makes a very good point. The statistics show that individuals that go through a similar type of sobriety court program, after 2 years, only 9% of them will have another conviction, whereas participants that didn't do something of that nature, they're just put on probation or they're sent to jail or prison, it's closer to 18% that will have a new conviction on their record, drug or alcohol related. So it does work, it's less expensive, and it's just very good for the community as a whole.
I know those folks, they all said it, I'm not gonna drink again, I'm not gonna use whatever it is, the substance. That's the goal, that you never want to see these people again.
Correct. Lifelong abstinence from drugs and alcohol is the goal.
Do you have to be in trouble in order to go through a program? Is there a mechanism for someone that hasn't been convicted of a crime that has the serious enough problem that court supervision like this would be available?
The people in our program all have felony convictions, or they come before me because they have a felony offense that's charged. Similar programs and peer support groups are available in the community. I just don't think that it's people that aren't in trouble tend to not take advantage of those things. And that's a very generally speaking type of situation. But this exists, this type of help, this type of support in the recovery community, this type of treatment exists everywhere, but I think it's a little less accessible for those who may not be in the court system.
Well, it's almost 10 years that we've had the recovery court, and Jerry, I know as prosecutor, you've had the experience as well before you were elected to chief prosecutor. What have you done? What have been the learning benefits from your standpoint, Susan, to make modifications as the program has grown? How's the program improved?
We make modifications constantly. We go to federal trainings are required. We go to state trainings, and the research continues all of the time. And we've started to learn. And I think in the beginning we focused on sanctioning people that broke the rules, and there was a lot of jail time imposed, a lot of community service that was imposed. And the studies show that incentives do more than sanctions. Now, sometimes sanctions are an absolute necessity because of behavior. If there's a relapse, we have to swiftly treat those people that have a relapse. And even from that standpoint, we're learning to sanction them more quickly as opposed to waiting another 2 weeks when the next court session is. So that's one of the things we're constantly improving. We're offering incentives. If someone has done particularly well, and we get a report from their treatment provider that they've really been participating or they're mentoring other folks in the program, we make sure to commend them in front of the group. And that community support system that they create becomes as important as the treatment and the drug testing and the other support that's provided through the program.
I think that's why you make it public, and you call it a graduation.
That's right.
And the parting gift, it looks like everyone gets a parting gift.
Everyone does get a parting gift. And those have evolved through the years as well. We used to give them a shot of their booking photo, and then they could put in the other side of the frame was blank, so they could put in a current photo. But the booking photos were always a little bit fun to look at, and the difference in the people that you would see.
Very true.
A number of, I bet, success stories. You keep in touch with people. They write back after a while, and
They do, they write back or they come back to court sessions. We have a lot of graduates that attend court sessions even after they're done with the program. It's always good to see them.
we'll keep up the good work.
I think that speaks well for the program, Bart. If you've got a participant actually comes back and acts as a mentor, it really says a lot about what they felt the program was and how it helped them.
Congratulations to the most recent class of graduates,
Yeah, exactly.
and we appreciate you both coming in today.
It's good to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Bart.
Thank you. From the Jackson County Recovery Court, Judge Susan Bebe and our prosecutor, Jerry Jarzynka.